What's good, sports gamers? And next up, we're going to discuss the improvements to MYGM and the rest of the changes that will affect both MYGM and MyLEAGUE in NBA 2K19. So let's get to it. Now, despite me being a fan of the new and improved MYGM mode in 2K18, it had some flaws like forcing trades upon us as part of the storyline. I mean, they had me trade for Vince Carter, bruh. And the story was a one playthrough type deal. But in 2K19, we'll have the option of starting a MYGM The Saga Continues, or a more traditional MYGM, which strips all the story elements from it and returns to what the mode was in 2K17. So there's something for the player who loves the story mode cutscene aspect of it, and for those who just want to get their Sam Hinkie on without all the cutscenes. Personally, I like the cutscenes, but the no voices thing really took me out of it at times. So it's nice to have the option to go back to how I used to have it if I feel like it. And also in the regular MYGM mode, we'll be able to start with expansion, customize the league, and start in the off season. And you can now choose a difficulty level of easy, medium, hard, and custom to determine how much you want your GM skills to be tested. Now for the story-based MYGM, instead of taking over your favorite team, we'll be given the keys to a brand new expansion franchise and try to get them off the ground and rise the ranks. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this, but thankfully the regular MYGM mode will give us the option to use the real franchises. I can see the potential in having a story revolve around an expansion team though. So we'll be going through the journey of building up the team, like trying to get people to join your staff, design uniforms, what you want your arena to look like, all that good stuff. And the owner of the team has the most creative player name ever, Tex Towers. It states he's a tried and true Texan who is a businessman through and through. They lay it out like he has a lot of money, but he doesn't know much about the NBA, so he will leave that all up to you. A very hands-off owner, if you will. The blog also goes on to mention that our interaction with the story and players in it will be way more important, and the narrative will capture and consume us. So I'm interested in what it is for them to say that. Now regarding the NBA draft, we'll also be clued in by media pundits a lot more just on who the players are, what are his strengths and weaknesses, why the team drafted him. And for somebody who's participated in drafts in Madden for many years, subtle stuff like that just makes it more real. Like you know this person in a way, he has a story built around him, or something specific you remember about him because they mentioned it during the draft. It's great. Now also 2K19 will have historic draft classes already created for us to use. We'll have the ability to use the 1960 draft with Oscar Robertson and Jerry West, the 65 draft with Rick Barry, 69 with Kareem, 1970, 74, and 1976 through 2017. And we'll be able to import one of these classes at the start of every NBA season. And don't worry, the fictional draft classes are still an option as well. So this could be a cool way to relive NBA history as you go through each draft class all the way up to 2017. Now something that's interesting is a thing called player mentorships. We hear all the time young guys in the NBA had a vet take them under their wing, show them the way. Well in 19, a player mentorship feature has been added that lets us assign a mentor to any player on our team in an attempt to customize how that player develops via the different badges he can get from them. Now of course it's going to be position specific. Their example is Lonzo Ball and you put Rajon Rondo as his mentor. You can ask Rondo to start teaching Ball how to get the good badges he has like Lob City Passer or Pickpocket. And you can see in this screenshot they use Bron as a mentor to Ingram to teach him some of his badges. While a center, mentor, and a point guard will limit the amount of skills they could possibly share in the first place obviously. Now I legit like this. This will make the Amir Johnsons or any low-rated 70 player more valuable and likely to have a roster spot on guys' teams, so you can essentially jack their badges and put it on one of your young guys. Also, we will get traded player exceptions in the game, which is what a team gets when they move more salary in a trade than they get in return. And you have to use this in 12 months' time acquiring a player from a different team. Now this past season we saw for the All-Star game players take turns picking guys for their team, like we're back in the playground. And in MyLEAGUE we will have control of the draft and who plays on which team. And for the gamers who couldn't care less about this feature, there will also be an option to just auto draft the teams as well. And speaking of All-Star Weekend, a proper Rising Stars game will be a part of it as well, as it will pit Team USA versus Team World. Now I wonder if they increased the good non-American players in random draft classes to fill out a proper team world, you know? And there will also be a full replicate of the new Summer League format in the game. The new format will have teams competing 3 prelim games before being seeded into a tournament that finishes with a championship game. Each team will play at minimum 5 games, and depending on how they play, up to 8. And this will be in both MYGM and MYLEAGUE. Now for the constantly injured players, it's time to get nervous. 2K19 will expose all their business on his injury history page. It will show every injury he's ever suffered while you're in MYGM or MYLEAGUE. So this could come in handy when you're deciding whether to risk some money on these 2 free agents, and one of the guys' injury page is so long you gotta scroll down to see everything. And for draft picks, we'll be able to trade our team's next 5 years worth of owned draft picks now, where it shows the team the pick was originally from and the details on it. Does it have pick protections or not, all in one menu. Now when dynamic rule changes were added in 2K17, it was great, but we were only allowed to vote on the 5 random rules they chose to give us. But in 2K19, we will have the ability to swap out any proposed rule to one of our choosing. And the blog details that they expect many gamers will be quite surprised by the variety in our library when it comes to rule changes. And to build on rule changes, a few new rule changes were added to the game this year that have been circling NBA discussions for a bit. The first one is the ever popular one of taking the top 8 teams from both conferences and seeding the teams from the West and Eastern Conference in the 1 through 16 format. So if you really think the East is a lost cause and want more fairness to the playoffs, the option to do so is now there. And one that was brought up a lot when the Sixers were tanking were take all the teams that don't make the playoffs and have them play in a tournament where the winner gets the number 1 pick. And the remainder of the slots are determined by placement in the tournament. And there's a few switch ups to this as well, where the top 1 or 1 and 2 picks are determined by the tournament, or even the loser of the finals gets the number 2 pick. Well, I don't know why you ever want that as a possibility, but hey, it's there. And the rest of the lottery picks are determined by team record. Just having stuff like this in the game is ridiculous, but I'm not even going to hold you. I like that play for your lottery picks option though. And also, to continue on people hating that tank life, the new rule that will be implemented in the 2019 NBA draft that will have it so the top 3 teams with the worst record will have the same odds of landing the number 1 pick will be in the game as well. So teams outside the top 3 will have a better chance than ever of jumping into the top 3. But I mean, it's not like the Bulls didn't get lucky and jump 50 spots to land Rose, or the Cavs and the stuff they pulled up when Brown left. Nah. Now if you hate these rules like I do, the old lottery system will be an eligible rule change in the above mentioned rule changes feature. Now they claim there's a fairly complex logic system in place that looks at every variable possible to determine the end of the season awards. But we know it will still go to whoever has the most points and assists for MVP and Rookie of the Year, and who has the most steals and blocks for Defensive Player of the Year. I hope they will factor in how important that player was to a team, like he has the highest portion of team points out of everybody, even if he doesn't have the numbers of others, and give him a chance of winning MVP. Like Rose, when he won it, he would never have gotten it in 2K with the stats he had. But they also give us the option to override these decisions and name who we think should deserve each award. Which is fine, I guess, but I want the system to be decent enough where I don't have to do that. And there's now something called on-the-fly lineups that will let us set quick lineups for different situations, like you need speed out there, or all defense, or the best shooters. Access to these lineups will be easily accessible in-game by pressing down to activate the on-the-fly coaching feature. I'm gonna need some more info on this one. Well, you can never say 2K doesn't try to be as authentic as possible with everything they've added. I thought last year when they added pick protections in the G League and stuff was crazy. And they basically said, oh, you like that? Watch this. I'm truly amazed. I love to play the games and stuff, but stuff like this I drool over as well. It all shows they really listen to the gamers, and this is all we really want to end, right? But you guys tell me, what do you guys think of the changes to MYGM and the changes that affect both MYGM and MYLEAGUE? Let us know in the comments down below. And stay tuned here at Sports Gamers Online for more NBA 2K19 content. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And once you're with us, hit that bell icon at the bottom so you don't miss anything we put out. I'm Chris. Thank you all for watching, and be good, y'all.